Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, and today I'm going to be talking about a fighting game that I've really been enjoying as of late, that being Chaos Code New Sign of Catastrophe. Now, Chaos Code New Sign of Catastrophe, I've talked about before on my channel, but I really want to just talk about it again because I really enjoy this game, and I just want an excuse to talk about it. Now, Chaos Code, my history with it came about when the sequel to the most current game, as out right now, Chaos Code New Sign of Catastrophe, was announced. And this game was called Chaos Code Next Episode of Extreme Tempest, Extreme with an X. And it caught my attention since I like ARCSYS and fighting games in general. This was around when BlazBlue Crosstag Battle was still, the hot thing at the moment. And everyone kept speculating, man, I wonder if Chaos Code can get into this BlazBlue Crosstag Battle game, because it would make sense. ARCSYS did help out in the game. Now, I was aware of the series, but not the characters or how the game even played. So I copped the Nintendo Switch version the day it dropped, so I could finally play the game myself, and boy, I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. Each character felt so fun to play. The music was so damn good. Seriously though, the songs are like really, really good. Like really good for this niche game. It's maddening. And there was so much freaking content you could unlock that it just felt like, man, there was a lot of work put into this game, despite it not getting much recognition. There was a lot of work put into this game. And I just figured out that this game was really, really underappreciated. Like, I would advocate Chaos Code to the very end, and I would try to convince other people to play it, but, this is a current year where no one's even bothering to think about Chaos Code these days. But I personally believe that the game is really underappreciated, really fun with a variety of characters that are really insane and goofy, and I love all of them. But this game is just so good and so goofy and stupid that I really wish more people would play it so they'll know themselves. So now time for just a tiny little bit of history with the game itself. Now, Chaos Code was developed by both FK Digital and Arc System Works, with Arc System Works also helping to publish the game. The first iteration of Chaos Code was released in arcades on August 2011, and was then ported over to the PlayStation 3 through PSN on December 2012. Now, it was then given a home release in Japan and overseas to North America in 2013. Another version, also known as Chaos Code New Sign of Catastrophe, was then dropped in arcades on 2013, but didn't get an official PS4 and Steam release until 4 years later. That came with online for once, because the PS3 version of Chaos Code didn't come with any kind of online functionality. But anyway, the PS4 and Steam releases of New Sign of Catastrophe came out 4 years later that had online, and it also brought in new characters such as Ray and Lupinus. Now, again, as I said before, the PS3 version of Chaos Code didn't have any kind of online. As for why, I couldn't explain on why the game didn't have any online, but it was a port from the arcades. So my guess is that maybe it was such a direct port that they never bothered to add the ability to play across the globe. I don't know. That's just a tiny theory that I'm throwing out there that doesn't really matter, because the PS3 version, no one really liked it anyway. And so now the version of the game I own, and the one I've been playing as of late, is the Nintendo Switch version. And the Nintendo Switch version is $10. It's super cheap, but it takes away the online mode, just like the PS3 version didn't have. So if anyone wanted to play Chaos Code online, the only version you can really play is the PS4 and Steam versions. And they're actually $20, so they're super cheap. Now, information of Chaos Code is very scarce on the actual series itself, to the point that even trying to find pics on the series wasn't hell and a half to even do. I had to freaking go around this kind of thing in a weird way, because I have a Switch Lite and I don't have a capture card for certain things like this, so I had to find a way around that. A couple of years ago, I managed to get a hold of files within the game, like the gallery that's been cleaned up, character select artwork, stuff like that. But ever since I lost them, it was as if they never existed to begin with, because there was a link on the site, I think it was Dust Loop, that had access to all the stuff from Chaos Code, but that link's been broken for years now. So yeah, there's barely anything out on the entire internet about old Chaos Code here. So it sucks, but you know, I did my best to scrounge out what I could find about this game to the best of my ability. So the plot of Chaos Code is actually relatively simple. There is this energy source known as Chaos Code that was founded by a man named Arthur Tesla, and he helped mankind prosper with this energy source. But when the world government organization known as the Earth Union had found out about the Chaos Code, they decided to go after it along with others in a tournament held by Tesla himself. And he kind of encouraged everyone to find the Chaos Code themselves, which each character wanted the world-changing power for their own means, either for selfish reasons, they want to harness the power, or they want to get the Chaos Code for a virtuous cause. Now, Chaos Code doesn't have a story mode, so the only snippets and bits of the lore you're going to get is through certain characters, and I mean certain characters, because nearly half the cast of Chaos Code doesn't really follow the lore per se. About half of them are just doing off goofy adventures, and I like that about Chaos Code because half the characters you can't really take the characters seriously, and I'll talk about that more later. But the plot doesn't really matter in this case. Like, it doesn't matter. It has no story mode, and only a couple of characters at the end of their arcade runs even talk about the Chaos Code. The majority of the times you're going to see in Chaos Code is just the characters goofing off. And I kind of like that. So, the game doesn't really have a plot, but I just find it funny that this game just like, yeah, we're going to introduce this story that we could build upon maybe later, but we're not going to actually do that. We're just going to have the characters goof around this tournament and just act stupid to each other, and I just find that the funniest thing ever. I will talk about more of this later. I'm gonna lie, I will talk about more of this later as I go on in the video, but I just wanted to bring it up. It's just funny to me. Now back to the actual game itself. When you boot it up for the first time, you are presented with several modes. You have arcade mode, versus mode, survival mode, practice mode, mission mode, score attack mode, online mode, custom color mode, collections, and you also have a record and options menu. Now, the arcade mode is where you pick a character and you just basically go through a gauntlet of 8 fights. Now, each character in the game has 2 endings, depending on what you do in arcade mode itself. Now, for the first ending, known as Ending A, all you have to do is beat the arcade mode once and that's it. It's as simple as that. You just gotta beat it and get the first ending. But for Ending B, the second ending, you must finish off the first 3 matches with your ultimate chaos move, which are your super moves. You have to beat your first 3 matches. You must finish your first 3 matches with your ultimate chaos. And if you don't, obviously you'll just trigger Ending A again. You can also buy an ending if you want to without having to go through the hassle of doing the Ending B route through an in-game currency known as Chaos Coins. I'm not gonna lie, I've only found out they're called Chaos Coins through a website. I don't know if that's the name for the currency, but I'm calling it Chaos Coins anyway because it sounds funny. And they also give you a generous amount of cash in the game to buy out things. Obviously this doesn't have no DLC and anything, so that's a good thing. But I'll talk more about the Chaos Coins a little bit later. Now, you also have custom color mode. Now, in this mode, you can change the hair, you can change your skin, you can change various parts of the character's colors, their clothing and stuff like that for your own mixes, which is something I enjoy. I like that when they do those color edit mode stuffs. And I would kill games like BlazBlue Guilty Gear have it, because damn it, dude, some of these DLC colors suck. And I feel like the best way of just giving you a color edit mode, I feel like that would have been I know they can't charge you for colors anymore if they did a color edit mode, but I feel like any color I would make myself would be better than what they're giving me at points in the series. Ugh. But anyway, you also have your collections mode. Now, within this mode, you can unlock several things. You can unlock character artwork along with other art, from people around FK Digital doing artwork. You can also unlock arcade endings, as I mentioned before. You can unlock the B route, you can unlock the A route, you can just unlock them all if you want to. You don't even have to play the rest of the arcade modes unless you really want to. You also can unlock stages from the game, which you can view at your leisure. You can also unlock 2 EX custom colors for each character. They're not really that special, but the custom colors do look nice. You can also unlock the boss versions of each character, which powers up the moves they have. You can also unlock something known as Chaos Mode, which I will explain later because Chaos Mode is kind of crazy. And still in the gallery, you can also unlock something known as EX Options. Now, EX Options are custom features that you can buy in this game, and there are a total of 5. First is your camera focus. 2 is your narration voice changes, which changes your voice. Technically, the camera focus really doesn't matter. I mean, I've tried to get it to work so many times, and yeah, it just didn't work for me. But yeah, narration voices, you can also change those. You can also gain an option to max out your chaos gauge. Your chaos gauge is essentially your gauge so you can use all your super moves. And the fact that you can max it out through the EX options, which means you have infinite chaos gauge, which means you can use your specials whenever you want. Like the moment you unlock that thing, you can have it on for all the other modes. At least I think Versus and Arcade allow you to play it. And you also unlock the fourth thing you unlock is damage multiplier, where you can change the damage from 0.5, so basically, nerfing yourself, or 1.5, which is boosting up your attack. And the final thing you unlock as an EX option is something known as Rui's Farm. Now, Rui's Farm is actually a mini game which you can match up fruits and vegetables to gain a high score. It's not really anything special, but the fact that they still stuffed a mini game in here after all what they put in so far is still crazy to me. Like, they didn't have to do that. So, yeah. Anyway, but keep in mind, you can still use Chaos Mode and Boss Mode within the Versus mode and the Arcade mode, on top of the damage multiplier and the infinite chaos gauge, which means you can easily steamroll the entire Arcade mode if you so choose to, and grind out the Chaos Coins. But even so, the EX option, along with things like the Boss Mode, cost a lot of Chaos Coins to unlock. So yeah, the grind is indeed real, as the most I've ever gained from an arcade run was about 4,000 Chaos Coins apiece, and one Boss Mode unlock for one character costs 5,000 Chaos Coins apiece. So, again, the grind is unreal. If you really want to unlock that shit, you better, screw around with grinding out the money. But considering they give you these options to make things easier on yourself, infinite chaos gauge, and infinite like a stronger boss version of yourself, this game is pretty easy to essentially break. You don't even have to play the game regularly, you just easily break it. And I kind of wish some more fighting games had that kind of thing where you just like break the game. You don't have to give a shit about balance. You can just screw around like offline and just screw around stuff. How like BlazBlue had unlimited characters, something like that. I mean, yeah, Chaos doesn't have anything like that, but God, I would love it. But anyway, Rui's Farm is the most expensive unlock in this entire game at a whopping 30,000 Chaos Coins. But I'm giving that one much of a pass. I'm giving that one a pass really because it is a whole ass mini game. It's not just a regular mode you can just unlock. It's an actual mini game. But at least the narration voices are available in this game for 20,000 Chaos Coins instead of being DLC like other video games do. Yeah, how much for character voices? $30? Get the hell out of here with that noise, man. Yeah, now I can finally talk about the characters, which I've been slacking on. This is a fighting game. I kind of need to talk about the characters. This is a fighting game. So we can talk about the characters, and we can just, move on after I'm done talking about them. First, we have the main protagonist, Hikaru. Then we have his alter ego, alternate fighting guy. I don't know what to call this one, but this is MG Hikaru. Now, MG Hikaru is just a version of Hikaru who has his otaku traits raised up to 11. Forgot to mention Hikaru is a massive otaku, but MG Hikaru is more of an otaku. And you know how MG Hikaru became a thing? The literal lore for this guy is literally, he is Hikaru who went insane because he waited in line to get an anime figure, and because he waited for so long, he became quietly insane. That's literally how MG Hikaru became a thing. That's actual Chaos Code lore. I love this game. Anyway, moving on to the other characters, we have Kagari, we have Catherine, Bravo, Cerberus, Hermes, Celia, Kate, and C, who are puppet characters. Kate is the brother who does most of the work and takes the hits, while his sister C can be controlled by him. Honestly, this gives me a whole Ice Climber vibe, you know, their brother and sister, just, you know, with anime characters. We have Vane, also known as Shin by his sister Kagari, Rui, Cathelia, Celia 2 Kai, Kudlok Sin, Ray, and finally Lupinus. Now, I want to tell you something about this. Chaos Code, as I mentioned before, has an entire cast of freaking goobers. They are just a bunch of goddamn goobers. None of them is taken seriously. The only two characters in the entire roster that you can actually take seriously, that can be taken seriously, is Kagari and her brother Vane. That's it. Even the main villain, supposed main villain at least, Kudlok Sin, is a giant goofball, and the fact that this game doesn't give a shit about treating its main villain like a goober is one thing I love so much. Hell, my favorite fighting game character in all of history is Catherine here. Now, I won't mention much about him at this very moment. I won't talk much about Catherine, but I did make a video about him in the past, so you can know why I love this guy so goddamn much. And I will put it in the link below if I remember by the time I'm done with this video. You should watch that video, it's stupid. Now, I'm going to do my best to explain some basic level stuff about this game to you, because I'm not very good at explaining fighting game stuff, and I'm not very good at actual fighting games, but I can try my best here. Now, all 16 characters have access to certain skills on top of their base movesets, which you can select from the character select menu, and you can choose between 2 of the 4 options before you start a match. For example, Cerberus can choose between an anti-ground attack, a reversal skill, a projectile, and a special strike attack, while characters like Kate and C can select between 2 strike attacks or 2 command throws. Now, I mentioned something known as Chaos Mode earlier, which allows access to all 4 moves at once upon choosing a character, rather than choosing between only 2 of them. Each character also has a bounce, where they can either do a run or a step, which obviously varies among each character. So you guys see who has a good step or a good run, because each character varies, and it kind of really heavily depends on how you want to play the character. You have to play a good option, but some characters don't have good runs, while they have an equally good equally good step, while a character could have a good step, but a horrible run or be super slow. So you gotta keep that in mind as well. So now getting into actual battle, each character has access to several special moves, their ultimate chaos moves, which are their supers, and finally their destruction chaos moves, which are the strongest techniques in their arsenal. And on top of that, you also have extra versions of those attacks, as your specials also have EX versions of them. Now, the ultimate chaos attacks will use 1 to 2 bars of your chaos gauge, depending on the attack you use, while the destruction chaos attack will take a whopping 3 bars to actually use. You also have command attacks, as they are your base attacks with added directional inputs. They are an extension of the 4-button attack layout that the fires are grounded on. By pressing a weak punch, a weak kick, a strong punch, or a strong kick with a combined press of a single directional input, you'll be able to perform a command attack as specified for your chosen character in the command list. And honestly, I like how Chaos Code has so much content and options within this small game that you can customize pretty much how each fighter plays to a certain extent, and I really enjoy that. You just have the option to choose how you want your character to play. You also have the option to just, unlock boss mode and unlock chaos mode, which is just pretty nice. You have so many options to play your character in. It's very, very fun. So with Chaos Code being an arcade game, it obviously had several updates that came along after its initial release. I want to talk about Chaos Code Exact Xeno Attack, which is apparently the most current version of Chaos Code in the arcades at this very moment in time, which simply adds some colors and possible balance changes. Now, I am also aware that there's an arcade cartridge out there which has been shown, and I will not put footage of it up, but I just want to know this is that it's a thing that's out there. Some people actually put up, actual gameplay footage of exact Xeno attack on YouTube and sorts like that. So you guys can go check that out. I might put the link in the description so you guys can go check what exact Xeno attack looks like, at least if you played Chaos Code before and you want to know what the update actually looks like so you can get a look of yourself. Now, I mentioned before that Chaos Code was meant to have a sequel in the form of Chaos Code Next Episode of Extreme Tempest. Now, Next Episode of Extreme Tempest was shown off around 2018, and then it was fully revealed at EVO Japan 2020. Now, not too long after its reveal, it was said that the game was canceled, and at the time that FK Digital was going through some financial strains, along with the producer of the series, Mickey Lin, losing his brother, which wasn't looking so good for the state of the series as a whole. So basically, the game got revealed, but a bunch of horrible things happening at FK Digital and the actual producer of the series kind of put that idea to the wayside for a bit. Sorry for this abrupt cut here. I was going to talk more about Chaos Code next. I saw an article about how the game could possibly come back through Mickey Lin. He said on his Twitter that Chaos Code Next was going to come back somehow. But then I tried to look up on Mickey Lin's Twitter and I didn't see anything about that. I didn't see no articles because somebody would have definitely made an article about that by now. So if you guys ever come across that article, don't believe it. The game's actually canceled, and it's saddening. But my heart goes out to Mickey Lin. My heart goes out to FK Digital. They're still doing things, but I think the series as of now is canceled. They pinned tweets on both of their accounts saying that Chaos Code is, they've made a decision to stop doing the series. So yeah, I wanted to put that abrupt cut here because the rest of the video is going to be about how the sequel's going to come back, but I misread that article, so I greatly apologize. I was going to feed you a BS lie, and I really apologize for that. So yeah, it's sad to hear that Chaos Code just stops like that, and I understand why it stopped like that. It's just sad to see it go like this because I really do enjoy this game. Now, obviously, I have my gripes with the game, but honestly, they're so minor and they're so nitpicky that I feel like I shouldn't need to mention them. But I just felt like doing it. Now, is that I have no idea if this happens on the other versions, like the PS4 version or Steam versions, but once you select the character, you cannot back away from them, which forces you to get out the entire character select screen to do it. Like, like other fighting games, if you select the character you want to choose or whatever, you're just like, okay, I press B and go back, or press X, or whatever game you're playing, whatever system you're playing on, right? You just press a button and go back. But in Chaos Code, all the buttons are just to select your character. All of them. All four of the face buttons are just to select your character. And I have to pretty much press the start button just to get the hell up out of it. And I hate it. I don't know why they just didn't let you back away, because sometimes I want to choose a character for an arcade run, but I'm like, I don't want to play this character right now. I just want to choose someone else. But you can't do that. You have to leave the actual menu and come back. And the game doesn't have the best load times. It's not really quick. It's kind of slow. So, good luck with that. It takes a good while to get back into it. Like, it doesn't take forever, but you still need time to do it. Now, I know online for the Switch version was taken out due to FK Digital's financial issues. They pretty much just poured the game over because, I guess they just want to make some extra money because, hell, they just didn't have the best financial, things at the time. But the fact that the Switch doesn't have the online is like a hard sell, because the Switch version of Chaos Code New Sonic Catastrophe is $10. That's the cheapest fighting game without a sale at that. That's $10 permanently, right? It's not on sale. That's a $10 permanent cut. So, like, if someone wants to play this game and they find the cheapest version and they want to play online, the Switch version is a hard sell because it doesn't have online in it. The only reason I bought it, because it was cheap. I didn't really care about the online all that much. I just wanted to play the game for myself and see where it is. Now, if you want to play the game offline, honestly, you have plenty to do offline. Don't get me wrong, you have plenty to do offline. And I feel like just for all the content you can unlock, that makes the game worth it just for the Switch version alone, because it's super cheap. But If you really want to play another version of the game, you have the option of the PS4 and the Steam versions, and they're all $20, and that's cheap. Even when I so that's still cheap. So if you're able to cop those games, and plus the games are going on sale all the time. ARCSYS is always putting up sales and shit like that for games like this. So if you're ever able to cop Chaos Code and some friends to play it with, I would highly recommend you do so. I really do like this game, and I really wish more people talked about this game. Chaos Code is a very underappreciated game. It has a bunch of wacky characters. The gameplay is fun. It has a lot of content. Really good music. Let me just get back. The music, like I said before, the music by Setzer, the composer for this game, it's really good. Like, the music for this game is super good, and it's sad that no one really knows of it. Yeah, it's on YouTube, and people can listen to it and shit, but like, it's not one of those games. It doesn't have one of those soundtracks where people just bring up because the game's relatively unknown. I'll never walk around and hear someone talk about, hey man, this one track from Chaos Code? It's so fire, bro. Yeah, I'm never gonna hear that ever, and it bums the shit out of me because Chaos Code has so much going for it. I love this game. I want to talk about this game to more people, but I can't, and it bums the ever-loving hell out of me. Honestly, if you really want to play this game with friends online and whatnot, I highly suggest you get the PS4 and Steam versions if you're able to do so. If you only have a Switch and you just want to play the game offline and goof around with it, which you can, you have a lot of options to goof around with it offline, buy the Switch version because it's only $10. That's a steal. That's literally a steal. Nintendo's eShop is literally handing the game to you at that point. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about Chaos Code New Sonic Catastrophe, everyone. Play the game. Just play it. Freaking play it. I swear to God, play this game. I want to talk about this game to more people. But yeah, see you all next time. Peace, everyone. Have a great day.